And welcome into a post-game edition, international style, right here on Spits and Suds. I'm Gavin Spittle of 1053 The Fan, Team USA, rolling along. And we're here to talk about it on Spits and Suds. Of course, we wouldn't take the night off when Team USA and Team Canada is on the national stage. And boy, was social media a buzz. 3 fights in the opening 9 seconds. Matthew Tkachuk started the fisticuffs against Brandon Hagel, plays for Tampa. That's kind of makes sense. Hagel, Tampa. Tkachuk, Florida. It's a good matchup. Brady Tkachuk then drops the mitts against Sam Bennett. Sam Bennett inserted into the lineup for some more physicality because they were playing Team USA. And then JT Miller. Wow. Talk about a size matchup for Canada in the third one. He drops the gloves in front of the net against Colton Parayko. So after that, we decided to play some hockey. Whew. And Team Canada went up 1-0. And this is what I love. You had the fights to start it off, and then you had the greatest player in the world just exploding past the USA defense. Connor McDavid scores, and it's 1-0, and you're like, whoa. And that Montreal barn was a buzzing tonight. Oh my. I mean, they started by booing the national anthem. Then they were cheering loud and singing. It had that European soccer-like feel, or should I say football and European. Boy, was it impressive, that barn in Montreal. So the U.S. had everyone against them, although when they scored, you did kind of hear a small pop. So USA comes storming back. They go up by the score of 2-1, and then an empty net goal, which makes it 3-1. And what an absolute show put on by Jake Guentzel. 2 goals tonight. One goal in the first game against Team Finland. He is just absolutely having an amazing international run. And the coolest story is Jake Guentzel had never put on a Team USA sweater. This is the first time that he has done this. The former Pittsburgh Penguin, now scoring and doing very well for Tampa, is an absolute weapon for Team USA. There was an injury. Matthew Tkachuk limited in the third period. He stayed on the bench, but he didn't take a single shift after about the 7.5 minute mark of the third. Dylan Larkin, great to see the veteran for the Detroit Red Wings. He was playing on the fourth line to start out, promoted for this game, and just put on a real nice shot from the outside on Jordan Binnington. So just a real nice effort for the USA players. Jacob Slavin, just a quiet but steady defenseman for Team USA, logging 17:28 of ice time. He was absolutely terrific. That was through 2 periods. So he was a beast out there. Charlie McAvoy, another beast on defense. Yes, Connor McDavid did get behind him, but McAvoy was following him for a lot of the night. So McAvoy played really, really well. A big hip check on Connor McDavid. That's the thing about international play. It's not like you have players coming out to protect Connor McDavid. It's every man for himself. So if he can be hit, he will be hit. These players, this was like a Stanley Cup Game 7 final. And I'm serious. Like, there was chirping among the benches. There was chirping on ice. These guys wanted it. It was an absolute point of pride. And when you can look at the 2 Tkachuk brothers playing together, and after both of them dropped gloves and Matthew basically came back on the ice, opened the door and gave his brother Brady a massive high five as he went to the box as well. Absolutely love that story of the 2 Tkachuk brothers and playing. And if you go way back, their father, Keith, played in Montreal and put on a show. He himself fought Team Canada and was a major star on Team USA. So there's a lot of history there. We also had another Dallas star inserted into the Four Nations tournament as Cale Makar had illness. So Thomas Harley was called by Team Canada earlier and was going to go on a vacation with Wyatt Johnston, but decided to become a Team Canada reserve. And Harley pointed out on the broadcast, he thought that maybe he might see action in Boston, but got the call and headed to Montreal. Got there in time to spare. So really, really impressive to see another Dallas star out there. So just basically the Four Nations is littered with Dallas stars. And you guys know I'm pro Jason Robertson, but this USA team was built in a way that I don't necessarily know fits Jason Robertson's game. You look, and physicality is the key for Team USA. And listen, Star fans, I'm not saying Jason Robertson can't be physical, but he's just not like an overly physical player. And that didn't make up what Bill Guerin wanted on the ice. So, Jason Robertson has a lot to play for. And remember, when these players were chosen, Jason Robertson really hadn't gone on that elite tear that he's on heading into Four Nations. So he started to play much better, but at that point, he wasn't where he is, where he finished before the Four Nations break. So let's keep that in mind. Also, interesting, Team USA now is guaranteed to play in the finals on Thursday. The three other teams, Sweden, Finland, and Canada, are tied at 2 points. So Monday is massive. Canada versus Finland, and USA takes on Team Sweden. We'll see how it looks on Thursday, but you could have Finland playing Team USA. You could have Canada playing Team USA. You could have Sweden, if they beat USA, playing Team USA. So, it's actually going to be pretty fascinating. Actually, Sweden would be the one that would be out because in a tiebreaker situation, it goes to head-on-head competition, and Sweden has lost to both Canada, and they lost today in overtime to Finland, but they still have 2 points since it was 2 overtime. So just a tremendous night, and a tremendous night for hockey. Let's take a step back. Prime time, 7:00 Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, just a national stage. And to start out with 3 fights, and I know there are a lot of people that are not pro fighting, but to bring in that passive hockey fan, physicality is one way in which you can do that. Sure, a skill set is another. But really, this game was 2-1 before the empty netter from Guentzel. So if you had a 6-5 game and it was putting on a show, yeah, that would attract people. But I'm telling you, physicality, hard hitting, something different, like 3 fights in 9 seconds, that doesn't happen. So therefore, I think they said on the broadcast there had only been 5 games in which 3 fights had happened all year in the NHL. So this is an anomaly. And I look back to a long time ago when they were playing the first Winter Classic, and it was Buffalo against Pittsburgh in Buffalo. And I remember because I went to the Cotton Bowl earlier that day. The Cotton Bowl at that time was played in the Cotton Bowl. That's how long ago it was. And I remember getting home and going on social media and hearing that it was snowing and they were playing hockey just like the old days. And I went and I watched the game and I was absolutely locked. And Twitter was a buzz at that time. And snow was falling, had to get the shovels out. Sidney Crosby scores the game winner. It just was electric. And that was so cool. And tonight is a perfect example where hockey took center stage in many ways, where people that ordinarily don't watch, I pulled up my car to my neighbor who was walking their dog at about 4 or 5, and they said, "Hey, you watching the game tonight? I might come over to your house and watch the game." I was like, "Sure, come on over." That's the kind of attention that Four Nations is bringing to the sports world. And PK Subban said tonight after the first period, not this just did not affect with the fights. This was not just a hockey thing. This was a sports thing because social media, as I mentioned, was buzzing and people were talking about this. And they're not talking about all-star games because in all-star games, it's more of an offensive. It's more of a skills show. There isn't going to be hard checking. So it basically winds down to a skills competition, go through the motions. This was massive. And this is a preview of what we'll see in the Olympics next year. Now, will they drop the mitts in Olympic play? No, they won't. But will the grit be there? Has the rivalry between Canada and USA taken on a new level? Like, by the way, it is currently in women's hockey, which is a massive rivalry, Canada and the US. So, yes, that is happening. And if you are a hockey fan, you are rooting for Canada to take down Finland in regulation and go to the finals on Thursday so we can see this matchup in Boston. So, terrific game for Team USA tonight. It's been an absolute heater of a tournament. It's been wonderful, wonderful watching the NHL stars. And like I was telling our producer, Gregory Finley, prior to this, I want to expand this. I want a team world. I want to figure out, or I want to combine a couple of nations. I want maybe Czech nations, like Czech players joining German players. I want Leon Draisaitl in this. I want maybe Switzerland be a part of this and combine it with another country too, because the Swiss are raising the stakes as they're playing really well. Then we have the Slovaks. So, Slovenia, Slovakia, some really good players there. Then all of a sudden, Anse Kopitar joins and others join. So I just want, maybe it's Team World 1 and Team World 2. I don't know, but I know this. There are players that are watching this that could add a lot to this tournament. But for a first year, it has been a massive success. All right.
Oh my God, it's the coolest thing ever. Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? Well, check this out. It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic famous foods from restaurants across the country, anywhere nationwide. I've never found a more perfect gift than food. They ship Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garten's famous cakes. Seriously. So if you're looking for a gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT.
Let's get into some Stars news. Sam Steele signing a 2-year, $4.2 million contract with the Stars yesterday. Average annual value of $2.1 million. Steele playing well. He's 27 years old, 17 points, 4 goals, 13 assists, 53 games this season. Prior to the year, he had signed a 1-year, $1.2 million contract. So a real nice pay raise for the 27-year-old who was previously a first-round draft pick for Anaheim and really has come into his own after playing with Minnesota Stars. For some reason, Minnesota didn't protect him. He became a Dallas Star, and now we will see him for the next couple of years. What I like about Sam Steele is he's a Swiss Army knife. He can kill penalties. Stars have enough players on their power play, but if they needed him to be on the power play, he could do that. He can play on lines 2 through 4. Probably could play on line 1 if you needed him to. Yeah, he just does everything well. So for a guy like that, when you're looking for depth pieces in the offseason, he fills that role, and 2.1 is a fair contract for that role. So congratulations to Sam Steele. He gets his multi-year contract, and I think it's a real nice signing by Jim Nill. I'm excited to get the Dodonov contract done. With what Evgeny Dodonov has done this year, and what Evgeny Dodonov does when in a Pete DeBoer system, I think you got to go another year or two with Dodonov, because once again, just like Steele, he's a guy that can go up and down the lineup. Evgeny Dodonov was playing on the fourth line for a few games last year. And, in fact, I think he played on the fourth line for a game or two this year. Now he's on the first line, and he's found chemistry. And he can play on any line, and he's just a quality veteran that gets the job done, works the corners well, has a good skill set, very good passer. Obviously, we know about his scoring, so would love to see small pieces like that come together with fair contracts, both for the player and for the team, so the Stars going into the offseason know what kind of financial room they have to sign a Matt Duchene, to sign a Jamie Benn, and then to lock up Wyatt Johnston long term. And Thomas Harley is going to be up soon as well. So you have a bunch of contracts, and Sam Steele is just a nice piece, and cheaper than the Radek Faksa contract that we had years ago. And Sam Steele does a real nice job on that third and fourth line. So it's great to be back with you guys. I'm so glad we could do this Four Nations update. And we'll be back with another episode soon on Spits and Suds right here on 105.3 The Fan. Until then, have a great day, everyone.